Hello, and welcome to our lesson on developing a worldwide sourcing program. This segment will cover understanding cultural issues. Perhaps one of the biggest barriers to worldwide sourcing involves the cultural differences that arise when doing business with other countries. Culture is the sum of the understandings that govern human interaction in a society. Culture is a multidimensional concept composed of several elements, including language, religion, values and attitudes, customs, social institutions, and education. Values and behavior are two significant cultural differences that can affect the supply manager. Values are shared beliefs or group norms that are internalized. They affect how people think. Behavior is based on values and attitudes. It affects how people act. Understanding cultural differences will improve a purchaser's comfort and effectiveness when conducting business internationally. Cultural differences between countries can result in some unwelcome surprises when buying internationally. For instance, the standard procedures for negotiation and contracting are distinctly different in Asia, Europe, and the United States. Dealing with these issues requires purchasing personnel and organizations to manage different beliefs about contracting. Many cultures place a premium on maintaining harmonious and smooth relationships. Thais and Indonesians, for example, will frequently say yes merely to be polite. It is a way of indicating that they are listening to you. Yes does not necessarily mean that they agree with what you are saying. Furthermore, they often express their position in the most ambiguous terms. This is also true of the Chinese. Buyers in China have to be mindful of the importance of saving face to their Chinese counterparts, first and foremost. The concern is so great for Chinese companies that it can result in suppliers saying they understand a buyer's requirements when they do not. The Chinese suppliers then proceed to try to figure out the requirements on their own, sometimes with disastrous results. Additionally, Chinese standards may differ from American standards for the same material. The nickel content in Type 301 stainless in the United States could differ from that in Type 301 Chinese stainless steel. The best way to solve communications and standards problems is to have feet on the ground constantly monitoring suppliers. Finally, beliefs about ethical issues, such as bribery, differ widely from U.S. practices in developing countries. What is illegal in the United States, providing bribes, is often an accepted business practice in many other regions. A major part of the supply manager's role is communicating requirements clearly and effectively to suppliers. Language differences can sometimes interfere with the effective communication of requirements. Not everyone understands English, and Americans will likely not understand the seller's native language. The largest differences in communication styles across countries are message speed and level of content. Americans tend to give fast messages with the conclusions expressed first. This style is not appropriate in many countries, particularly in Europe. Dick Locke, a procurement manager who has handled buying operations in Tokyo, Europe, Mexico, and the Middle East, offers this advice about language and communication. If a supplier is using English as a second language, the buyer should be responsible for preventing communication problems. To aid in communication, speak slowly, use more communication graphics, and eliminate jargon, slang, and sports and military metaphors from your language. Bring an interpreter to all but the most informal meetings. Allow an extra day to educate interpreters on your issues and vocabulary. Document, in writing, the conclusions and decisions made in a meeting before adjourning. This is the end of this segment of our lesson. In the next segment, we shall discuss logistical considerations. This course is presented to you by South Europe College. Thank you for listening, and see you on our next segment.